Hello, Nick. So we're talking Charlie's year. Getting started on this on a day I normally wouldn't, because of freaking insurance. For some reason, like normally I would be at my physical therapy at the moment, but for some reason insurance now is denying further visits for some unknown reason. I spent over a freaking hour on the phone with them today, none the wiser. They're supposed to call my clinic on Monday. It's just, I don't understand why anybody would not just want like one payer health care so that you don't have to freaking deal with this BS. I love the argument that, oh, the choice. Yeah, I get to choose between one freaking insurance company that my employer offers. Anyway, sorry. Let's move on. So there's I got a mess here with the map with all these counters and stuff. We'll kind of get into that. Kind of just starting with the map to learn this game, and yeah, the first thing is the way they reference hexes. So locations down here in England or Wales, they'll reference from London, which is the what do they call this? The town. That's the London spot. This we'll get into the territories later. This is the whole territory of London, I believe. But so for here, they'll reference things from that spot, and then up in Scotland, they'll reference it either from Glasgow or Edinburgh. And like for example, they say Dunbarton lies 2 hexes northwest of Glasgow, so they would denote it as 2/NW/Glasgow. And you can see here's Glasgow, and if we go 2 hexes northwest, there's Dumbarton. So that makes sense. However, the one things that don't really make sense to me is if they say Glasgow is on the west map, 27 hexes northwest of London, 27 NW London. Well, London northwest is going to go off this way. I don't think it's going to hit Glasgow. And then it says Edinburgh is on the east map, 25 hexes north of London, 25 and London. So London's here, and if we would just go straight north, it's definitely going to miss Edinburgh. It's going to be over here. So I don't know if that's just a product of in the original game, these came as different map sections, and they didn't update this now that it's all on one map. I'm not sure, but I think we can get the gist enough. I don't know how it'll work if, like, say you want, and I don't know how much they actually use this. Probably in the setup. Oh, maybe I should look here. Let's look at when they tell you where things are set up. Yeah, so 5/NW Glasgow. So at Inverary. That's up here. 1, 2. So maybe it's just a general area, I guess, because this would be, I would think that would be 1, 2. I'd say there'd be a 3 there, 4, 5. Maybe it just gets you in the general vicinity, which I guess is fine. Yeah, so that's fine. So that's how we denote things on the map, and yeah, and then so that's that. All right, so let's move on. All right, we're getting back to this now. So now we're going to go on to the territories. So on the map, there's 5 distinct. There's England, which basically is all of this section, excluding Wales over here, and it includes the Isle of Wight over here, and the Isle of Man over here. Wales is over here, and I've got these. I've got the borders, at least for now, while I'm getting used to the game, with these white spacers. If you, on the terrain effects chart, it shows that your territorial boundaries are by these like faded white lines, and they are exceedingly hard to see. So I mean, you can see it right here, and it, it follows. I've got the white spacers on here to help me denote that. And here's between England and Scotland, and then I've got more up here to help me denote lowland and highland. Oh, hello there. Nice to meet you. And so I'm not a huge fan of that, of the way that the territorial boundaries are denoted. I kind of wish they were a little more like, hey, here they are. But I guess it just gonna have to get used to it. And I do believe I looked around a little bit. I think there's certain restrictions like on the government if to do offensive plans in Scotland if they don't have a certain something and vice versa. I don't know. So it's like you got to know those boundaries. So all right, so that's Wales. Let's do London while we're down here. So London has its own territorial boundary, and it's so basically you can see if I can get you a little closer at all. And I got a lot of crap here. So around here, like this is all considered the London territory. Why did I have that there? Oh yeah. Forget the orange spacers for now. We're just talking about the white spacers. So again, that very faint white line going around there. Let me take these off so you can kind of get a better idea of what I'm saying. I don't want to act like I'm complaining and you'll be like, hey, what's he complaining about? So let me get you off of here so I can get down a little more. All right, so if I take these out of the way, so here, you can kind of see that little white line going around there, but if you're just like glancing through, it's a little difficult for me to catch, but yeah, for now I got just some helpers. Yeah, this is the main London square, and then we'll get to what these other things mean. All right, so that's London, and then the final territory is Scotland, and it's divided into Highland and Lowland territories. So here's the border between Scotland and England, and then if you come up, then this border denotes the lowlands and the highlands, and it curves around through here, around Inverness, and there. So all up over here is highlands, and then kind of here down is considered lowlands. So things you got to know. Oh, and then there's a note that the Highlands and Wales are forage depleted at all times. So I put a forage depleted marker there just to help out. All right, so the next thing is these regional centers. And these are places, certain cities or towns on the map where both sides will be able to muster if they control them. And they say they're marked with a regional center symbol per the terrain effects chart. So I have looked at this terrain effects chart, and I don't see anywhere that says anything about regional centers. So that's a little confusing. There is, however, this sheet that was with the game, which is the list of regional centers. So that's what I started marking them up here with these little wood blocks. And then when I ran out of those, I switched over to the orange spacers. And this guy, I had the idea of using these little meeple guys at some point. And then I also had these, but I don't know. I right now I've got these red spacers on those key spots where you denote how you find hexes and stuff. But anyways, so I followed through. I was able to find all these, and I'm trying to figure out like So without the need for these, how do I know that these are regional centers? And I believe that it's because they kind of, the regional centers have this, like with their little ring that they're kind of, I don't know, do you call that hatchwork? Or they alternate colors around. So here's red. And I don't know, so blue means I think this can be like a port or for riverine traffic. So here's, oh crap, I lost. Oh yeah, so Strathboard or Strathlight, whatever that is. So this is, the red border. So it's not like can't act as a port, but it's kind of got the alternating things. So I think that, and I think it pretty much holds, all over the map. Here's one, yeah. So it's got to be that, and I don't think that I've seen that on any cities that I don't have marked. Oh crap, Manchester. Did I? Oh, I missed that. I must have. How did I miss that? Let's put. I don't know if something got moved or if I knocked something. So, yeah, I don't think. I don't think I've seen any other towns or cities that weren't on this list. I did find, however, that there's 2 Plymouths marked, and one in Cornwall and one in Hampshire. This one I think is the actual. Oh wait, no, Plymouth. Yeah, where did I? Oh, I missed that one too. You know what? I think I started messing things up here. Apologize. So, oh crap. Oh, I guess I was seeing things. That's not actually. That doesn't actually change the. Yeah, forget that. Anyways, yeah, looking for Plymouth. So there's Plymouth down here, and this is down in Cornwall, which is this one. And then there's Plymouth down here in Hampshire. Oh, man, if I can remember. I don't know if it meant Portsmouth. Yeah, I think, is this considered Hampshire? Yeah, I don't know. There's the Cotswolds. It's hard to tell what these different areas mean, but I'm pretty sure that I found that Portsmouth wasn't on here. Yeah, so I think this should be Portsmouth. So I don't know, and I don't know if there's a RATA file somewhere for this. Hey, look, I got an extra one of those. Let's replace that up there. All right. So, anyways, hopefully I've got that right. There wasn't anything marked on there, and I don't know whether that's ingrained enough in my head that when I see that just glancing over the map where I want to attack, because these regional centers are important because you'll be able to muster troops there. So, I mean, having all this stuff over the map is kind of distracting, but it does tell me. I don't know whether using the bingo chips would be better, or if the orange spacers would be the best. It's just, in here in the London area, all 5 of these are considered that. Yeah, I think maybe I'll just try to wean myself off of having them marked, so that the map can stay looking like it does. All right, let's look at peaks now. So it mentions peaks, and looking on the terrain effects chart, there's nothing that says anything about peaks. There's hills. Yeah, so from what this is just me guessing, but if you can see, so we're up in the hills or mountains, whatever they are. There's these little like dots through here, kind of forming the hex sides, which it does mention hex sides. So I think those are considered peak hex sides. So those can't be crossed unless I believe you're a Highlander. If you're a Mountaineer class units, including Highlanders, can cross peak hex sides, but it costs their entire movement. And then there's some other stuff. So they're kind of all over the map. That's what I'm going to go with. I think I'm right on that. I don't know what else they would be denoting. Yeah. All right, let's move on. All right, the next thing to talk about is water symbols. And again, these kind of cause me a little dismay. So if you look at the, so here's a river, there's major river, and I mean, just looking at it, it's not a big difference. And it took me a bit looking through some other stuff. Most notably, no, notably, talk correctly, on the abridged version of the rules, it talks about rivers dark blue are navigable, black outlined are major. So if you can see on here, if you really look, there's like a black outline, whereas on this one it doesn't. So example on the map would be, so right here you can see there's like a black outline. So this is considered a major river up until this point. And you know, it's got some break-offs here. And then the next problem is, which I don't know if you can see. I'm going to turn a light on. Hopefully it doesn't cause a buzzing. If it does, I'm going to have to reshoot this. Oof, I don't know if that helped. So, yeah, I don't know. Yeah, so you can kind of see. So here, so this river is dark all the way through here, and then this little tributary shoot off is lighter, and like down here it's lighter. So the dark the dark lines are navigable, but the light ones aren't. So for riverine movement, which I haven't gotten to yet, I'm assuming then that means that you can like navigate all through the dark river parts. And but then like, so here you'd get to here, but then it switches to where it's not navigable. So I don't know, that's how I can figure it out. And then there's these blue dots, which are ferries that you can take. And yeah, and then there's a little bit on estuaries, which I think the gist of this rule basically is, because their example, they say how if the Jacobite player held Portsmouth and he wanted to land the French there, that he would also have to, let's double check this, they would also have to control South Sea Castle here, because the line, you know, comes from South Sea Castle to Portsmouth. And they said also Portsmouth Castle. So I don't know if like these are considered separate locations. I don't know how you mark who's in what, if that's the case. But anyways, and the other option, they said like you'd have to control, what is this, Colshot Castle and Yarmouth Castle, and plus the Portsmouth Castle, in order to have the French come in this way. So that's, I think, what they're trying to get across here with estuaries. Defensive flooding isn't a thing in Charlie's year. Earthworks. So those different castle denotations on the map, depending on their color. I think the color, I don't know, I'm not sure. It tells what kind of fort it is. These are both red. What's the difference? I guess somehow the symbol. Yeah, that's not going to be that easy to know, because I think the background color is supposed to be yeah, I don't know. This is going to be interesting when I get to this. There's a lot of kind of I don't know, up in the air things in my brain about what stuff is. You know, like here's I don't know what this I guess this would be like that one, I guess. And yeah, I guess it's red, so that, yeah, so I guess those images are easy enough to tell the difference between. It's just annoying that that's what I have to go by. Here's let's see if we can determine this one. So this looks, I don't know if that's green outline. I think that's an earthwork. That's what that looks like to me, as opposed to, Well, they do look kind of somewhat similar, but I think it's supposed to be that. Yeah, anyways. When we get to that, an actual battle, I'll be rejoicing anyways that I'm that far. So, anyway, is there anything else? Some new icons as opposed to old games, but this was the. So I think this was the. I don't know if I remember correctly. This might have been like the first game that Ian like really worked on, but it was the second game that came out, and then they redid it for the newer rules, and so I don't know about these new icons. This may be referring to old stuff. Talks the use of discs to represent towns and fortifications. Yeah, the rim, blue is going to be a port. So yeah, you can use that as a port, whereas that's red, you can't. And then walled towns, fortification grade 3. And that on that list of regional centers, it has about what kind of town it is. So, fortification discs are pentagon shaped and have a variety of colored borders and interior icons that help denote their grade. Yeah, remember that navigable rivers, which can be used as riverine routes, are dark blue, and major rivers have a heavier border. I'm not sure what benefit major rivers give. The physical size of the river indicates it's major. Yeah, and then it talks about those washed out territorial lines. Ooh, that's bad. Turn that off. And then there's some key locations which give prestige, which I think that is in. I think that's somewhere in here in the charts and tables. Yeah, prestige awards, page 18. So there's some more locations that we're gonna have to denote. Oh yeah, so there's certain Jacobites, Perth, York, Oxford. Yeah, looks like we're gonna have to get used to certain locations that are worth more also. So I think that's pretty much it regarding the map. Again, I don't know whether it really is helping me having these on there like that. I might just take them off. There was one town listed that didn't have that kind of little, I don't know what you call it, the patchwork pattern. Where was that? Or maybe I'm just imagining it. Maybe I was thinking it was this, but this kind of does have that. I think that was what I was imagining. So yeah, maybe we'll just take those off, and we'll just know that if it's got that kind of little patchwork back and forth for the circle around it, that's a regional center. All right, so this is proof of life that I'm actually trying to do a little bit of learning on it. So, all right, thanks a lot. Get rolling dice.